my name is Rachel and I'm here today to do my June wrap-up. So in the month of June I read pretty much exclusively LGBT plus books because it is Pride Month. Well, it's not now, it's the 1st of July unfortunately, but I'm still reading gay books, so it's fine. So yeah, I just want to go through those. I usually do my ratings in order of like my enjoyment and things, but I haven't really planned this. I'm just last minute filming it before I go out. So yeah, this is just going to be in an order that it's in. The first thing that I finished, I'm not really going to talk about a lot because I did a separate review of it, which I will link down below, but it is Northanger Abbey. I read the majority of this in May, but I think I finished it in the first like 2 or 3 days of June. I gave this 4 stars, really enjoyed it. It was a reread. And yeah, I really enjoyed this one. It was the first like one of her actual novels that I read for my like Jane Austen reading that I've been doing this year. And I'm really excited because the next one I read is Sense and Sensibility, which I've never read before. So yeah, this was very good, very much enjoyed it. It's about Catherine Morland, who is kind of obsessed with storytelling and the Gothic, kind of brings that into her own life without realising it. And it all goes from there. It's very good. The next thing that I read this month was Leah on the Offbeat by Albertalli. This is kind of like a second or third book to Simon vs. Homo sapiens Agenda, and this follows one of Simon's best friends, Leah. And I enjoyed this. I think I gave it 4 stars when I finished it, but I think it might be more like 3.5 stars now. So I might go back and change that on Goodreads. But we basically follow Leah, who is a bisexual girl. She basically, you know, starts to want a relationship with a certain someone. I don't know if it says on the back, so I don't want to mention it. No, it doesn't say on the back. She just like kind of starts to fancy someone, and it's about her deciding to come out, which she is only out to a mum at the start of this book. And yeah, this was alright. I enjoyed it. Yeah, it wasn't my favourite thing ever, but it was okay. And I know a lot of people have problems with this book. I didn't have any problems with it and I enjoyed it. It just wasn't, it wasn't like over the top enjoyable. It wasn't like my favourite book. It wasn't like Simon was. It was just, it was nice. It was okay. And I know there's some scenes that people have problems with, especially like Leah's attitude to the girl that she likes, telling her that she might be like low-key bi. And I understand why there's a lot of controversy around that like discussion and her saying that and her being so in her face about it. But to be honest, I kind of understand it, and I think that people expect books to be perfect, whereas like this is a real person, and I can imagine a real person in real life being like, no, you can't be low-key bi, you can just be bi, because everybody isn't socially and politically correct at every instance of their life, and when people get angry they do say things that aren't correct, you know what I mean? So yeah, I don't really think that criticism's fair because that's just a real character. Real characters do make mistakes and say stupid things. So yeah, I enjoyed this. It was alright. Like I said, probably 3.5 stars. And then after that I picked up The Upside of Unrequited because this one did leave me with like, it made me so happy the ending, and I did read it really fast. And it made me want to read more. So yeah, I picked up The Upside of Unrequited. I think I gave this 3 stars, or if I gave it 4 stars, I think I'd give it 3 stars now. This is about a girl who, her sister gets a new girlfriend and she's kind of left on her own a little bit, and they're trying to set her up with this guy, but she doesn't really know if she likes him. And then there's this other guy that she meets, and yeah, it's alright. There was a pansexual character in here, which I enjoyed because I've never read a book with a pansexual character before. And yeah, lesbian characters, pansexual characters, gay characters. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed a lot to do with her parents. I loved her parents. It just wasn't my favourite thing ever, but I did enjoy it. So 3 stars for that one. The next thing I read, I'm so in love with, and I'm definitely going to buy when I go back to England. And it's called Heartstopper, and it's like a webcomic by Alice Oseman, but she's bringing out like a proper, actual like printed book version of it, which I really want. So I saw Kath Elizabeth Reed's talking about this and was like, oh, I'll go check it out. And literally me checking it out was just like, I didn't get off it until I finished it. Like, it's so cute. I think it's about some people that are in one of her previous books, maybe like her first book or something. There's just this boy who is openly gay at his school, and he kind of suffers due to that. People judge him because he is out as a gay boy at school, like, and I mean probably around 15. So there's a lot of judgment from his peers because kids aren't that nice. But yeah, it's all, like, he meets someone and they're just so cute and I love it. And I've read everything that's out so far and I just want more of it. So I'm really excited for that to keep being published, and that was highly recommend. I'll link it in the description box below. Then the next thing that I finished this month was a reread, and that was for Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe. The first time I read this, I didn't give it a rating on Goodreads, and I didn't know what my rating would be. I think it would have probably been around 4 stars, but I've mentioned before that the thing that I loved about this book was the Mexican cultural, like, things in the book. So both of our main characters are Mexican, and they talk about being, like, not Mexican enough, or like these different Mexican words, and it was really cool to see that, like, culture represented. But this time around, listening to an audiobook, this book is so much better on audiobook, so much better, because it's so dialogue heavy. When I was reading it, I was noticing how dialogue heavy it was, and I wanted a bit more. Whereas when I was listening to it, it kind of felt like listening to a radio play instead, and it was just fantastic. So Aristotle and Dante is about 2 boys who meet up at a pool and start learning to swim together, and then they become friends, and they sort of are coming to terms with their sexuality, with where their life's going to go, with family stuff that's already happened in their lives that they need to come to terms with. And it's just a really beautiful book. And on this reread, I gave it 5 stars. It's so weird to have something be a 5-star and be something you enjoyed so much to make it a 5-star, when the first time it was between like 3 or 4. So yeah, if you have read it and not enjoyed it as much, I would definitely recommend the audiobook because it is fantastic. I really enjoyed the audiobook, and I related a lot more with the characters, whereas the first time I read it, I didn't really like Dante that much when I first read it. I was very like, you're too pushy, you're too this, you're too that, whereas this time I read it, I was like, no, he's not. He's, you know, I like his character. So yeah, really enjoyed rereading that one. And then the last book that I finished this month was Of Fire and Stars by Audrey Colthurst. I finished this yesterday. I'm supposed to be doing Tome Topple, which I am doing now, but the first 2 days were out of Tome Topple because I needed this book. Like, I needed this book, which I have finished now and I'm in love with. I've never read a book like this. I've never read a book with a plot like this, because you just don't get LGBT plus content that's written in like this kind of genre style. And I loved that it was, because these are the kind of books that I love. So this is a high fantasy book where we have a princess from one kingdom go to another part of the kingdom to marry the prince. She's betrothed to him. She's been betrothed to him for years and years and years. She has been doing training to become a queen. She is the perfect person to be betrothed to. She's going to be a perfect queen. And then she meets the princess sister, and they basically start to develop feelings for each other. And it's just wonderful. It's so wonderful just to have this kind of book with an LGBT plus storyline and main characters, and I just loved it. And there's going to be more books. I think it's called Of Ice and Shadow, something like that. The second one, it's not out till 2019, which hurts my soul, but I'm going to read it immediately. And I love this. I love it so much, and I'm going to pick up all of Audrey Colthurst's stuff. This is on Voices as well. Audrey Colthurst has a wife. I don't know how she identifies, whether it's like lesbian, bisexual, pansexual, whatever, but she is in a relationship with a woman. Yeah, this is great. I gave this 5 stars. It just made me happy. It made me smile when I was reading it. It was really good. So there's that. And then other things that I've been reading this month, I've been reading Fingersmith by Sarah Waters. I am about 4 hours off the end of the audiobook, and the whole book is like 24 hours, I think. So yeah, I'm in the last parts of it, and I've been really enjoying that. It's not what I thought it'd be, and like, I didn't expect it to be a book with a twist, and when the twist came, I was literally just walking, and because I listened to it on like 1.5 speed, and I was like, huh? Have I just missed something? So then I was rewinding it and putting it back to normal speed, because I was like, I'm sure I've missed something, and then it wasn't. There was just this huge twist, and I was like, oh my god, I did not see that coming. And I really am enjoying it very much. It's, yeah, like I said, it's different from what I thought it would be, but I think that's because, and what's great is that it's historical fiction, so it's a bit like the books that you read that are classics, except you don't have that ban on talking about sexual things or like LGBT things or all of that sort of stuff. So it means that you can have the great stuff about classics and still involve the stuff that was banned then. You can now talk about, which is a really nice melding of different things, which I'm really, really enjoying. The story is basically, I don't really know how to describe the story. I think to describe the story you can only describe like the first 100 pages probably because then it just goes everywhere. But it's basically this girl goes to serve someone as like a servant, not like a servant but someone who dresses her and does her hair and all of that stuff, and the woman's betrothed. I really don't want to say that much because I feel it's one of those books where like I'm glad I didn't know so much about it, and reading the blurb gave me nothing. Like the blurb just doesn't tell you anything about the story, but I think that's purposeful because then you don't really know what's going to happen when you go into it. But I really, really enjoyed that. So yeah, I'm definitely going to be finishing that in the next few days. And the other two things that I picked up, I mean, I've hardly read any of them, but I have picked them up and been enjoying them so far. So I started this book Is Gay by Juno Dawson. I've only read about 40 pages of this, but I'm enjoying it so far. I want to continue with this because I just think it's good to learn about these things. I want to learn more about Pride and the riots that Pride came out of and all of those things, because obviously people fighting for things like Pride mean that I can openly be myself in society. So I'm very thankful for that, and I definitely want to learn more about that, like learning more about feminism and women fighting for the vote so that I now have the vote. Like, yeah, I see it as the same thing. So I definitely want to continue reading this. And then the other thing, I've only read the first chapter. I literally read the first chapter yesterday, so you can't even really say I was reading it in June, but it was technically the last day of June yesterday. So I've read chapter 1 of The Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue. Like, Monty is our narrator, and his view at the moment I'm quite enjoying. So yeah, I think it's going to be enjoyable. I'm really not sure. I really have just read a chapter, but I'm excited for it. Thank you very much for watching. If you read any books for Pride this month, let me know down below what they were, and if they were really, really good, also let me know because then I can pick them up. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!